Good morning and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Castlekeeper Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today's video is another character class spotlight. Today I'm looking at Castles and Crusades, the Fighter class. The Fighter, as many of you probably know, is one of the core classes of any fantasy RPG. It's one of the original four, and it is both versatile and far more nuanced than I think most people really think about. It's one of the few classes where, because you have the greatest of selection in both armor and weapon and various fighting styles and such, just the mere choice of what weapon you're going to carry and potentially specialize in, what kind of armor you're going to wear, really does impact the characterization, the persona of your character, and the way that you will role play your character. Very few, very few of the other character classes really has that with it. I think a lot of people really think about the fighter as being, fairly vanilla, and it's only as vanilla as you choose to make it. There's nothing saying that your fighter can't be specialized in throwing darts. I mean, it would be something that very few people would be like, "Wow, that's like a really out from left field kind of choice." But when you look at certain systems, especially where they allow for specialization or double specialization, and then they allow multiple attacks per round at higher levels and everything, a fighter specialized in throwing darts, or double specialized in throwing darts, is going to be able to dish out a lot of freaking damage, based on all of those various features of the class just stacking up. I don't want you to think about fighters as being, oh, that's so bland, that's so generic, that's so no, that all the nuance and all of the characterization really comes from you as the player and your choices with the class. Without further ado, let's start taking a look at Castles and Crusades and how that game system handles the fighter. So, under classes, we have the fighter here, Castles and Crusades, and it's the fighter's primary attribute or prime attribute is strength, which is fairly obvious and very, very common. From the maelstrom of war and conflict, great warriors arise, tested on, tested on and mastering the brutal field of battle. These combatants nobly make war against cruel overlords and barbarous hordes, or are driven to conquest and brutish slaughter by depraved spirits and malignant desires. Found in all societies amongst all peoples for whom battle is constant, these are those who turn to the sword and might of arm to defeat their foes and fulfill their desires. Kings and tyrants, warriors and brigands, foot soldiers and raiders, adventurers and treasure hunters, these are all fighters. The fighter is the archetypical warrior, superior to all other classes in armed combat. Fighters come from every geographic region and occupy all social strata. They are born with the strength of will and the spirit that leads them to seek the field of battle. They find the clash of metal and the ring of steel invigorating at times and necessary at others. Fighters do not live in fear of the melee. They face their foes with gritted teeth and steely determination, longingly anticipating the next test of their strength and skill. All fighters, regardless of background, are characterized by the will and ability to use their brute strength and swift sword to solve problems or overcome foes. Fighters are a unique breed and make their own way in the world for ill or good. Fighters depend on heavy armor and weaponry that require great strength and skill to wield properly, whether sallying forth with a massive double bladed battle axe or a delicately balanced saber or of the finest steel, whether sheathed in plates of shiny metal or hefting only a shield on the blood-washed fields of combat, the mighty arms of these warriors rise and the weak fall beneath them. And it is that strength that carries fighters through the laborious contests of steel that mark their daily lives. Many cultures have unique weapons, and warriors in those cultures are often trained in their use, wielding them as if extensions of their bodies. However, all weapons, regardless of make, function to the same end, and the well trained and highly skilled fighter intuitively knows the best manner in which to use them. Fearsome with any weapon, the fighter is an opponent that only the foolish underestimate and the weak regret offending. As with weapons, the use of heavy armor is demanding upon the body. When worn by those unfamiliar with its weight and bulk, armor can be a hindrance to movement. It requires great strength and knowledge to properly wear any armor and maintain one's skill of hand while so donned. Fighters are accustomed to the bulk and weight of armor, knowing how to manage and adjust their thrusts and parries when wearing it. Once trained, a fighter knows how to adjust his or her fighting style to the weight and load of any armor in order to use it effectively. So here comes their abilities. I know personally, uh, being a U.S. Army veteran, that when you're strapping on your gear and you're carrying various loads, whether it be your rucksack or your ammunition belts, if you're a machine gunner, as I was at one point, um, the proper carrying of your gear really did affect and impacted your mobility to such a great degree. And we weren't wearing armor per se. We were just learning how to carry various bulk of of equipment and still maintain mobility. So it is definitely something that that a game system could easily gamify and take into account as you're playing these kinds of characters. So weapon specialization. At first level, the fighter can choose one weapon with which to specialize. All weapons are eligible, including ranged weapons such as the bow or sling. The weapon with which the fighter specializes is usually common to the fighter's culture or society, but it need not be. The castle keeper and the player should consult to determine which weapons are available for specialization, bearing in mind culture, location, and availability. The fighter can only choose one weapon with which to specialize. Once chosen, the weapon cannot be changed. For the fighters between first and sixth level, this specialization imparts a +1 bonus to hit and a +1 bonus to damage when being used. At seventh level and above, the bonus increases to +2 to both hit and damage with that specific weapon. Now, this is above and beyond the additional pluses that the fighter class gets for each level, and I will show you that the basic hit bonus that fighters get. Combat dominance. At fourth level, the fighter gains an extra attack with any weapon when fighting opponents with one hit die or less. In order to use this ability, the fighter must direct all attacks in the combat round against opponents that meet this criteria. All right. So if you're fighting a horde of, let's say, goblins, and they're all one hit die or less, but they do have one goblin leader that is above that first hit die, and let's say there's five one hit die and one three hit die. If as long as the fighter is directing his or her combat at just the regular goblins, the one hit die or less goblins, for that particular round, then he or she will get additional attacks during that round. As soon as they attack the third level, they will not get this, or third hit die goblin, they will not get this advantage any longer. The fighter can split the available attacks among qualified opponents as desired. The ability improves as the fighter progresses in level. The fighter gains an additional attack for every 4 levels gained after 4th level. So at 8th level, the fighter is allowed a total of 3 attacks, and at 12th level, the fighter gains 4 attacks against these opponents. This ability does not combine with the extra attack ability described below. The ability is only usable with melee weapons and cannot be applied to range combat. Extra attack. At 10th level, the fighter gains 1 additional attack each combat round with any weapon. This ability does not combine with combat dominance. When in combat where both abilities could be used, the player must choose to use either the extra attack or the combat dominance ability during each round. The extra attack ability is usable with melee or ranged weapons. So now we go into the basic stat block here. So the prime attribute is strength, alignment is any, the HD is D10, any weapon, any armor, weapon specialization, combat dominance, and extra attacks, right? Now, here you see a big difference between the fighter and some of the other classes that I've already covered. All right. They get a +1 at level 1, a +2 to their basic to hit roll at level 2, +3, +4, all the way up to +12 by the time they get to 12th level. So they're the only class where they're gaining a +1 to hit at every single level that they go up. So that gives them a major advantage as far as hitting their opponents. And it still keeps the system fairly simplified. I'm going to switch views here. It still keeps that system fairly simplified in that you're just adding your modifiers before you make your roll, and it's just going to change your target number. And there's not more there's not more complication to the character class features here. They all are just a modifier to the to hit ability, to the damage ability, and to the number of attacks ability. So whereas it might sound like, wow, this is a really simple thing, it's simple to make the rolls. It's simple to actually perform the tasks, but it's not as generic as it might sound, right? Because that's where the different types of weapons and the different type of armor that that you're using is going to add that extra flavor to your character. So if we look at this image here, I mean, we have two different fighters. One is using a what looks like a scimitar and a shield, while the other is using a two-handed sword, most likely a claymore. Um, they're both fairly heavily armored, but I'd say that the one in the plate mail is more heavily armored than the other, wearing what looks like a scale or a splint mail. And so just the mere differences, they also look culturally different as well. And so just the mere differences between weapon choice and armor choice are going to make these two fighters very different from one another in the way that they perform in their combat. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to, the player's choice of these various aspects is what adds that uniqueness and flavor to the character that he or she is playing. So there you have it. I know this one's probably very, very short because the fighter isn't that complicated, and yet it is still a very diverse and versatile character class to play, and essential for a character adventure party group. You really do need that frontline fighter type to bear the brunt of the attacks incoming. So I hope you like this video. And as always, these Castles and Crusades videos are going up on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so you can look to see this. This will preview on, at 6 a.m. Thursday morning, even though this is Wednesday when I'm recording it. So thanks for joining. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it around if you have other people that are possibly interested in Castles and Crusades. Remember to subscribe. It costs you nothing to subscribe. And if you are a fellow YouTuber, I just noticed this past day that TubeBuddy, which is an extension to YouTube that I've been using to kind of keep track of the various milestones of the channel and everything. TubeBuddy now has a an affiliate program, and you will see the affiliate link in my in the description of all of my videos going forward. And if you are a fellow YouTuber out there, I strongly suggest that you use that. You'll click on the affiliate link, and you'll join, or you'll add that extension to your YouTube channel, and it really does help you kind of track what's going on with your channel and such. It allows you to advertise the milestones that your channel hits, and then if you join the affiliate program through my channel, drop me a note that you've done that so that I will do the same for you, because there are bonuses for people acknowledging each other and putting that out there so that the affiliate program notices, hey, you spread this word, I will spread your channel's word as well, and we all gain from that. So I'll probably do a separate video on just that anyway, to talk about the affiliate program. But it's the first time that it's on a video that you'll see today. So have a great day. Thanks for joining, and keep on gaming out there. Take care.